diabetes, hypertension, and major depression with uncontrolled blood sugars who had come with unstable angina. So her angiogram was suggestive of distal left main disease with triple vessel disease. She was advised CABG, however, she was not willing for CABG. We kept her on medical management for 1 month, but she again came back with symptoms. But she was persistent that she will not undergo CABG. So subsequently, she was taken up for angioplasty. RCA was initially we thought we'll go ahead with RCA angioplasty so that while doing left main stenting, we have at least right system secured. So this was the result on right side. So subsequently, we while engaging left main, we were having significant damping in the left main, even with Tiger catheter. Hence, I went ahead with the JL catheter. With the JL 3.0, we engaged the left main, and if you see the angiogram, there is a distal significant left main, at least 50%, and the ostial circ is significantly diseased, and ostial LAD is around 60%, 50 to 60%. So essentially, it was a left main trifurcation. Considering the angles, if you see the angle between LAD and ramus is less than 45 degrees. So there was significant chance of pinching of one of these vessels while stenting. So I was very sure that there will be no pinching of LCX because it is arising at almost more than 90 degrees from ramus. So hence I thought since I will do left main stenting of LAD and ramus. And considering that we had done the patient was very adamant, sir, that the angioplasty should be done in single sitting. She had depression as well, and she was not willing to further undergo any more procedures because she had underwent angiogram only 1 month back. So we decided to do left main stenting as well in the same sitting as RCA. And doing DK crush would take a lot of time and contrast. So hence I decided I would rather go with a mini crush technique rather than a DK crush. And hence subsequently I wired both the subsequently wired both the vessels, that is LAD and ramus. First pre-dilated the ramus with 2.25 balloon. Then following balloon dilatation, there was the L6 ostium or the ramus seems much better. Then I placed the stent 2.75 Zynes in L6 ramus ostium, and another stent from left main ostium to LAD. 3x33 Zynes stent was placed. First, I inflated the stent in the ramus. With the stent, I made sure that only 1 or 2 studs are protruding in the left main when I am placing the stent in ramus. And after placing the stent in ramus, I removed the balloon, and subsequently we dilated the stent in left main to LAD. And before doing so, I made sure that I have removed the wire in the L6 or the ramus. So then I did inflation of then I did the pot of left main with 3.5 balloon. Then I recrossed the strut of the ramus stent, that left main stent, and into the ramus. Pre-dilated initially with 2 millimeter balloon. Then subsequently I dilated the LAD with NC balloon 3x12 at 16 to 18 atmospheres. Then I did kissing inflation. The stent in L6 was 2.75 into 15. Stent in ramus was 2.75 into 15 Zynes, while the stent from left main to LAD was 3x33 millimeter. So the post dilatation was done with 2.75 and 3 millimeter NC balloons. Simultaneous kissing inflation was done at 12 atmospheres. Then I did again a pot with 3.75 balloon in left main. That slide I have not included. So I did a pot with 3.75 into 12 millimeter balloon, and following the report, this is the result. So we have good TIMI3 flow with no significant overlap of the with only minimal one or two studs being of Ramus stent in left main. So patient was under follow up for 1 year, and she was doing well. This was in 2019. She was lost to follow up in COVID season. Thereafter, she has not come for follow up. But initial 8 to 9 months, she was doing pretty well on ticagrelor and ecosprin. This was the final result. Shall I go ahead with the second case, sir?
Yes, sir.
So this is a second case. He is actually a 65-year-old male who had come with acute inferior wall MI. He was acute inferior wall MI with complete heart block. He was thrombolized in an outside hospital, and he was taken up as a pharmaco-invasive strategy. So angiogram revealed that he had a left dominant circulation. LAD was essentially normal. L6 had a critical disease at the bifurcation. So this was a Medina 111 bifurcation disease with LCX, major OM, and distal L6 having a critical disease. And if we see that the L6 is straightly continuing as a OM, so there is a straight line between L6 to OM, and I was having some difficulty in crossing the distal LCX because it was arising at an angle. So I thought I will first. Initially, I thought rather I would just stent LCX to proximal LCX to distal LCX, since it is an acute setting. Patient was also an alcoholic, and if there is no significant side branch pinching, then I will just do provisional stenting of LCX. However, if there is any significant pinching, then I will treat this distal L6 as a side branch and do a culloting from LCX to the major OM. So if I cross the lesions and place the wires, one in distal L6, other one in the major OM, there was a significant waste in the LCX after initial dilatation with 2.5. Then I subsequently dilated with 3 at high pressures, and finally waste gave up. So then subsequently LCX was stented, proximal L6 to distal LCX with 3 millimeter stent, everolimus eluting stent. Then I recrossed the struts, since there was significant pinching of the OM, I recrossed the struts and did the balloon dilatation of the OM ostium. Subsequently, another everolimus eluting stent was placed from LCX to major OM. Then I recrossed the struts of the stent into the distal LCX, did dilatation with the 3 millimeter balloon, did post dilatation of the OM stent, then did a simultaneous kissing inflation of the bifurcation of both the branches. Then finally I did a pot with 3.25 balloon. So this was the result after pot. There was one more lesion here which was better seen in ariocaudal view. I had to stent it distally, around 80% lesion. So this was the result. After patient is under follow up. He had come to follow up even last month, and he is doing well. And there is no bleeding on ticagrelor. So these are my two